you doing today, folks? Now, this review probably seems very, very fast. I just posted the unboxing for this knife 2 days ago, but because of my hand being damaged, it took me a long time to upload it. So I've actually had this knife just prior to them going live, because I was sent one direct from Civivi. So Civivi, thank you. But this is probably going to be the end of our relationship together, because this knife has some problems. Now, before we get started, today's EDC is the Strider Knives SMF. Love this damn knife. This is a custom version, or custom E, customized, but either way, it is perfect for me. We also have a wallet that I'm testing out for a company called EDC Baltic. So far, so fantastic. As well as a custom, beautiful, hand-done Fellholter tie bolt in this blacked out copper. I love this pen. But anyways, let's get started. So first off, let's make fun of the marketing. Supposedly everyone in the boardroom just had these knives and was just doing this. Or the lefty EDC button lock dance, because let's be honest here, that man pioneered that shit. To be honest with you guys, the action is not bad. That being said, a button lock knife that does not have a flipper tab or a thumb stud is a gravity knife. Technically speaking, you can't even pull the knife out unless you disengage the button and then it pops. So this is illegal in most places. That in of itself is kind of a stupid idea. So while the action is, I guess, different, I would not describe it as good. It's just, eh. As far as the overall ergonomics, this is a much bigger Elementum, so it actually fits my fat hands pretty well. Not perfect. I do have a little bit sticking off the edge, but not very much at all. And overall, the ergonomics, while not being a home run, are definitely a home medium. If that's even a thing. Now, as far as the actual price tag, micarta and or carbon fiber or G10 and 14C28N steel is actually really good. And the edge geometry on this knife, while not being phenomenal, is exceptional. It is very well done. This knife as it sits right now is kind of dull. I have two of these. One is going to be going up for a giveaway pretty soon, and then this one, which is a little bit whooped. But the edge did hold up very nicely. I do think the heat treat for 14C28N is a little soft. I have a lot of knives in 14C28N and they hold an edge much longer, and they're also a little harder to sharpen. So I'm convinced, through no actual proof, to my own personal opinion and experience, that the 14C28N on this knife is soft. Is it? I don't know, it's just my opinion, but it seemed like it. It really does. With that being said though, 14C28N is by no means a bad steel, and even in this kind of softer configuration, I actually really enjoy it. Another thing about this knife I really enjoy is actually the carry profile. So you have here what I would consider to be a deep carry clip. Some people call it like an average carry clip, whatever the hell that means, but for me this is pretty damn deep. I mean, it's not super deep where it has the clip go over the top of the scale, but I mean, it's pretty damn good. And the carry on this knife is actually really good. It's not quite ideal, the tension's not quite right, but it's also by no means bad, and overall, I actually really enjoyed it. A couple of nitpicks though. The texturing on this micarta and the way this lanyard hole is designed, it's really, and I mean really hard to get paracord through it. Not impossible by any means, but it is a pain in the ass. But in order to give you guys the closest from factory experience possible, I took my lanyard out, and I'm dreading making a new one because this thing took me longer to put in than to tie the goddamn lanyard. It is a slight nightmare, but it's also kind of a nitpick, and honestly, lanyards aren't that popular anymore, so most folks will never actually use a lanyard hole, but if you do, you might have a headache. Now, as far as the overall fit and finish on this knife, there are very slight hot spots. Keep in mind, this is all about ergonomics, and ergonomics are very much personal preference. So if you don't have my big ass fucking hands, For you, the ergonomics might be better. They also might be worse. Honestly, who the hell knows? But for me, I have a hot spot right here where my palm actually hits it, and it's actually pretty bad. Now, if I do go up a little higher and then basically hold it like this, that hot spot moves over to where my index finger is right here, as well as the back right there. Now, have they ever caused blisters? No. But they are very uncomfortable, which might be a deal breaker to some people. Personally, me, I just kind of get over it, but it definitely is there. One thing I want to be very, very clear though, as a reviewer, my goal is to point out the pros and the cons of this knife. The cons in this knife, short of the action, which I think is just kind of dumb, they're really not bad at all. This knife is overall a very good piece. It's just a piece that personally, I don't understand who this is really for. I mean, they have knives like this, like the Paragon Knives Warlock, for example, which I actually sold mine, that basically have a gigantic pivot. You press the button down or whatever, and the knife comes in and out. These things are interesting because they are basically dagger blades. They're very proprietary, everything else. This is just a button lock. So basically, you're making a knife that's illegal almost everywhere for being a gravity knife for no real reason. I just don't understand who this is for. Like, add a flipper tab, add a thumb stud, and you'll open yourself up to a whole much broader audience. And also, if you still want to just do this, you can. I mean, you really lose nothing. So why they did this, I don't understand. Personally, I kind of hate this knife. There's nothing really bad about it, but just something about it, I just kind of hate this thing. All that being said, again, for the average person, if you like the idea of a gravity knife, chances are you will enjoy it. And if you want to do the left EDC patent pending button lock dance, then you can. And honestly, that's the only reason why I'm gonna keep my old beat up one, because just doing that dance with lefty is kind of fun on podcast or whatever. So I can't do the button lock dance without a button lock. And the only other button lock I have is my Freeman. And that knife drops down so fast that I probably end up cutting myself or dropping it. I will say about this knife, it's very light, so you can do this all day long. That Freeman is a bit of a workout. It's like a shake weight knife. You're just, that looked inappropriate, but anyways. My overall score on this knife is going to be a 6.5 out of 10. Again, that's my own personalized score. I think most people would probably be like a 7, maybe even an 8 at the highest end. I don't see anyone giving this knife a 10 or a 9 or an 8.5. I think a 7 to an 8 is being very, very generous. Overall, this knife to me is a bit of a miss, but I'm kind of glad they made it, because at least now they made it, they saw it, they tried it, now they can do something new. Though I swear to God, if Civivi makes a button lock Dogma and a button lock every knife they have out there all of a sudden, just like this, I might lose my shit. But this is a one-off. You know, you tried it. In my opinion, didn't really succeed, but it could be a whole lot worse. As always, folks, I love you all with all of my heart. Please take care. Have a great day, and bye-bye.